Hi everyone, welcome to another video. It's Jenny, and today I want to talk about how I lost 40 pounds after having my baby. Now this is something that I was kind of hesitant to make a video about because there are so many videos out there of people saying how they lost weight or how they lost their baby weight. So like most women, I put on a lot of weight when I got pregnant. That's normal, and it can be healthy when you have a baby. But the problem is that the weight gain didn't cause, but it didn't help a separation of my abdominal, something called diastasis or diastasis recti. And I also had a hernia, and being overweight didn't help the hernia either. In fact, my doctor said I needed to lose the weight to help my hernia heal and to also help my diastasis heal. And I wanted to avoid having surgery on my hernia, so I really thought I need to lose the weight. And the information that I'm going to tell you, this is what helped me lose the weight. It doesn't necessarily mean that it'll work for you, but I figured I would tell you, and I think that a lot of the things that I've learned really would help anybody lose weight, whether you're a woman or a man or somebody who has just had a baby. The biggest tip that I can tell you is that weight loss starts in the kitchen. And don't laugh, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's really true. Nutrition plays such a big part in losing weight. And so if you want to lose weight, you really need to start looking at not only the type of foods that you're eating, but also how many calories you're eating. And so that's something that I had to do. And even though I thought that I was eating well and I thought that I was managing things correctly, I was still overweight. And there was many times where I was literally doing 20 plus hours of some kind of exercise or physical fitness, and I was still overweight. And I was just like, what can I do? There has to be a way to lose the weight, and there's something that I'm not doing correctly, and I need to know what that is. And so what I did was I hired a trainer. Wait, before you click away from the video and say, oh, you hired a trainer, that's why you lost the weight. Believe me, that helped me lose the weight, but all of the work came from me. And the trainer, she's just somebody who gave me a little bit of help. She helped put the pieces together for me, but I had to do all the work. So the first thing that I had to do was really look at my nutrition, what I was eating. And my diet, again, was pretty good diet. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables, but it was mostly a vegetarian diet. I'm not vegetarian, but my husband is. And so a lot of the foods I would make were vegetarian meals. And so I thought, I'm eating healthy. I don't understand. Why am I not losing weight? And if you are pregnant, or I should say, if you just had a baby, hormones play a big role in weight loss. So if you're breastfeeding, your body's naturally going to, for some women, hold on to fat and calories because that your body needs that to make the milk for your baby. So for some women, breastfeeding does not equal weight loss, and I really feel like that's a big myth that people will say, oh, well, when you breastfeed, you'll lose weight. That's not necessarily true for everyone, and that wasn't the case for me. Now, I didn't breastfeed for a long time, but I did breastfeed a short while, and that didn't help me lose any weight. So I may have been one of these people that didn't lose weight breastfeeding. And again, around 6 months, your hormones will shift and you start going back to having normal hormones, whether you're breastfeeding or you're not breastfeeding, and that will play a role in weight loss. And hormones play a role in weight loss whether you're male or female. So the biggest thing about nutrition that I learned was basically that your body takes in the information of what you're eating into three categories. One is that food a carb? Two, is that food a fat? And three, is that food a protein? And so even though my diet was really healthy, I wasn't balanced in carbohydrates, fat, and protein. And this, I feel, was really the key for me. That and also cutting back how many calories I was eating, or calorie restriction. So my diet before was more heavily carbohydrates. So I would eat a lot of bread and rice and beans and just fruits, a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables. So these had a lot of carbohydrates. Now, a lot of foods can fall into more than one category. Maybe they have some carbohydrates and protein, or fat and protein. But your body will only take in a food and categorize it either as a carbohydrate, fat, or a protein. And so I learned that I needed to eat more protein in my diet, and my diet really needed to be more balanced. The second thing was how many calories I was eating. Now, I did know how many calories I was eating because throughout my pregnancy, I was very good about keeping track of my calories every day, trying to maintain a good weight, although I did gain quite a bit of weight and a little bit more than the recommended amount. But I did know how many calories I was taking in, and I believe it was about 2,000 calories a day. And before that, I was eating about 1,800 calories a day, but I was very active, running a lot, and so that's why I could eat 1,800 calories and I was pretty thin because I was very active and running. So now that I had my baby, I was not able to be as active, so I needed to cut back on how many calories I was taking in, and that's where my trainer stepped in and she calculated that for me, and she told me how many calories I needed to eat. Roughly, I already knew this because I had learned about this earlier in life. So generally speaking, I think most people fall between 1,500 and 1,700 calories. So number 3 is consistency. This is a really big tip because once you get your nutrition in check, once you figure out how many calories you need to be in a deficit and to start losing weight, then you have to be consistent with it. And this is the part that is hard. So it sounds easy, eat good food, don't eat too much, but it's easier said than done. And sometimes I would be a little bit discouraged, and when I was, my husband told me if it was easy, everyone would be skinny. And that's the truth. It is hard. It is hard to maintain that. And so what can you do to stay consistent, eat good food and keep your calories where they should be. So one thing is have a positive attitude. Don't give up. Even when you're having a hard day, you just have to tell yourself that if you stay consistent, you will lose weight. That's really something that I would tell myself. If you stay consistent, you're gonna lose weight. Also, a big tip, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, my diet was lacking in protein. And so whether you are vegetarian or vegan or whatever, you do paleo or you eat a regular diet, you really should make sure that you're eating enough protein or fat, because protein and fat are what keep you full. They keep you satiated. It flips that switch in your brain to say, hey, I feel full. I'm not that hungry. And for me, that was a big eye opener. It's just something that I didn't know. And so when I hired my trainer, she told me how much protein to eat, how much fat to eat, and how much carbohydrates to eat. And basically, you want to keep them all balanced. And yes, I had to keep track of my calories, and I also had to keep track of my macros. They're called macros. How much protein I was eating, how much fat I was eating, and how much carbohydrates I was eating during the day. And again, that's not easy. It's not necessarily fun. People think like there's a magic bullet or a secret to it. But honestly, for me, keeping track of everything was really, really important. And some people can do it without tracking, but for me, I have to track everything, and I may have to track everything for the rest of my life. I don't know, but I've gotten comfortable with doing that, and it's no big deal for me now. But for some people, they can do it without tracking, or they can track for a little while, and then once they have it in their head and they can look at the food and know how much they're going to eat, then they don't have to track anymore. But for me, I have to track, and I just look at it as a tool, a way, something that I can use to help me lose the weight and stay fit and stay healthy. And then my last tip, and I do feel that it's important, but it's not as important as the other things I mentioned, is exercise. Now, I've always liked to exercise, and I needed exercises that I could do, again, because I had the problem with the abdominal separation and I had the hernia, so I needed exercises that were safe for me to do. So I couldn't run, I couldn't bike, at least not yet, and so I needed something that I could do, and something that I wouldn't take so long, because hey, if you're a mom, you don't have a lot of time. So my trainer, she suggested doing something called circuit training, or you may know it as HIIT, or high intensity interval training. So that's something that I would do at home, and basically it's a mix between weightlifting and a little bit of aerobic exercise. I would do about 20 to 40 minutes of exercise. Starting out, it was 4 to 6 days a week. So 4 days of the week I was doing the circuit training, and then 2 days of the week I would either do walking, or I would just rest. So, but now I do 6 days a week of high intensity interval training. So my tips for losing weight, they're not anything magical. Again, start in the kitchen. Make sure you have good nutrition. Secondly, you want to make sure you're eating enough protein or fat. It just whatever your preference is. Some people like a diet higher in protein, some people like a diet higher in fat. And really you should talk to somebody who specializes in nutrition or fitness, because they can tell you what's better for your body type, because everybody and every body is different. Third is to really keep a positive attitude and stay consistent. So, you don't just pick up how to play a piano. A surgeon doesn't become a surgeon in one day. It takes months and years, and it's the same thing for weight loss. And again, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, everyone would be skinny. So cut yourself a break and give yourself some time to lose the weight. And I can tell you, for me personally, I lost the weight. I started noticing the weight loss definitely within the first month, and then it slowed down a bit, and then by 6 months is where I noticed another big change, and then 7 months, and now I'm about 8-9 months into my training. I'm trying to actually build some muscle now, and so that's my timeline. But don't set a timeline for yourself, because everybody's different, and you really have to think that this is going to be more of a life change instead of just a short-term type of thing. So it doesn't matter when you lose the weight, but I'm just telling you what my time frame was, so you know realistically, and you don't get so defeated if you don't lose 40 pounds in a month. It doesn't work like that. It takes time, so you've got to be patient. And then lastly is exercise. So exercise is great, and I really hope you can find something that you enjoy doing. I used to hate lifting weights. Like, I really hated it, but now I just love it. And I think that it's becoming more popular among not only women, but moms, because it's something that you can do while your baby's napping. And I honestly was doing 20 minutes to 40 minutes of circuit training every day. Well, not every day, but 4 to 6 days a week. And I do it 6 days a week now. So those were my tips, and I hope they help you. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please share it with other people that you think might enjoy this information. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.